This is part of the Computerizing a Manual Bookkeeping System series from Now Explain. This presentation is linked with the Now Explain Manual Bookkeeping series of videos. If you're watching this video on YouTube, you can find the manual bookkeeping version of this video there. This presentation will use the same data as that used in the manual bookkeeping series, and so customer, supplier and general ledger balances will all be numerically the same. The ultimate goal is to provide you with a way of comparing a manual bookkeeping system to a computerized bookkeeping system. This presentation will show you how the operation of a computerized bookkeeping system will differ to a manual bookkeeping system. So we're now going to look at the Purchase Invoice Daybook with detailed analysis, what it is and why we need this daybook. So with manual bookkeeping, no computers, we have pen and paper bookkeeping. We're using the daybooks, the books of original entry, also known as first entry or prime entry daybooks. We are collecting information from the source documents. Computerized bookkeeping, we're replacing the paper books. We're going to have computer and bookkeeping software, no spreadsheets allowed. Source documents are still required. Everything is integrated and linked, duplication is removed. You can record much more detail, no column limits as with a paper book. So related daybooks, purchase credit note daybook, bank payments daybook. And similar and related terms used: suppliers, creditors, accounts payable, vendor, payments, money out, electronic funds transfer, EFT, checks. We don't need a handwritten daybook anymore. This invoice will be recorded in a handwritten purchase invoice daybook as shown on the next page. You can see the invoice highlighted. We now have on-screen displays. So our on-screen display means no need for paper books. We can see all our invoices and all our credit notes on screen. We can also have on-screen or printed reports. So here's an example of a screen or printed report showing us all the purchase invoices and their totals and the purchase credit note totals. Let's see how this purchase invoice is recorded using our bookkeeping software. This is where we create our purchase invoice to mirror the same way as it was done manually in our Purchase Invoice Daybook. The Purchase Invoice data entry screen, and here it is completed. This is the key difference between a manual bookkeeping system and a computerized system. We only need to enter the data once on this data entry screen, and then every other ledger, supplier ledger and all general ledger accounts are updated for you automatically by the software. Note, I chose I for invoice as we are entering a purchase invoice. But before we start entering any transactions, we need to do some preparation. We need to set up supplier account codes and supplier details. And when this is completed, we can start entering our purchase invoices. Here is the purchase invoice with the data entry screen side by side. You can see the information taken from the purchase invoice received from our supplier. The supplier's account code, the date of the invoice, the supplier's reference, their invoice number, the details of what was purchased and how it was analysed, and the net values, the VAT and the total amounts. And 101, the number, is our own internal reference number. We can enter the same information that was recorded in the manual bookkeeping system into our computerized bookkeeping software, but with our bookkeeping software, our supplier ledger cards are immediately updated. Our general ledger accounts are immediately updated. Here you can see the two invoices, the same invoice, 109, updated into the two ledgers. Computerized bookkeeping takes away the need for writing the same purchase invoice or purchase credit note into different ledgers. When you enter a purchase invoice or a purchase credit note, all the linked ledgers are updated immediately. The supplier ledger card, the general ledger cost of sales, expense and asset accounts, the general ledger purchase control account, the creditor's ledger, the general ledger VAT control account. Also, any purchases or supplier reports is now ready to be seen on screen or printed. What you have learned: there is some preparation work necessary before you can start entering data. A computerized system allows for more detail to be entered with every purchase invoice or purchase credit note. Each transaction entry updates every ledger immediately. A computerized system will allow for immediate purchases and supplier reporting. Thank you for watching.